Reactive dog training is hard. I get it. Having a reactive dog is hard work. And it's frustrating because you might feel like you're stuck and you can't move past a certain level with your dog and you can't figure out why that is. You might have tried all types of different YouTube videos. Maybe you've had a professional dog trainer in. Maybe you've listened to a lot of Facebook advice, but yet you're still stuck on this one thing and your dog just doesn't get better. Now, there is, in my opinion, 4 common reasons for that. And it might be that one of these reasons applies to you as well. So I want to dive straight into those and let's go. You keep arguing with your dog. I have a really popular video where I talk about 4 ways to stop reactivity. A few of those methods are management methods. They are cross the street and avoid the dog. And I get a lot of these comments that are like, oh, this is not dog training, you're useless, or whatever it is. Here, I'll pop a few up for you on the screen. So you can see the lovely YouTube community towards dog trainers. I think this one is a particular gem. Like, I would never hire a female dog trainer because of you. You're welcome. But what happens is the reason why we avoid dogs and why we cross the street is not because I'm too lazy to work with it. It's because I'm trying to send my dog the message of, hey bro, I've got your back. Now please, anyone in the comments, please tell me, why is it so important to you that your dog walks past another dog on a very narrow sidewalk if you can cross the street? Like, tell me why, because I don't see the reason for it. Like I don't want my dogs to say hi to other dogs anyway, reactive or not. I just don't do on-leash meetings. But if your dog is afraid of other dogs or whatever reason they behave the way they do, why is it that you insist that they walk on the same footpath? Like, even if you just walk, if you live in a quiet area and you can get off the footpath and you walk on the street, like in a parking bay for a bit while you pass them, why is that a sign of weakness to you? Why do you need to keep arguing with your dog and saying, no, you fucking need to walk past that dog. Face your fears, you stupid dog. Like, why do we do that? Do you realize that that's what you're doing? Because I can tell you now, if you stop doing that, if you stop every time you do that, you're basically telling your dog, you're a pussy. And you're gonna listen to me because I'm the boss. Stop being such a weak dog. That's what you're telling your dog. Now, if you just cross the street or you make space or you do anything like that, what you're telling your dog is like, I get it. You don't like that, so let's make some space. It's okay. And every time you do that, if you do that like 50 times, then you'll find that maybe at time 52, your dog is like, there's a dog across the street. Doesn't bother me anymore. Yeah? And that's the moment when you say, oh, okay, cool. So what if I now reduce that distance? So instead of crossing the whole street, can I just walk in the parking bay? And then you do that for 50 times. And then your dog is suddenly fine with those. And then you can reduce that distance again. All you're doing is building trust. It's saying, hey, I've got you. I understand that you find this stressful, so I'm going to listen to you, right? So if you're afraid of something, like say you're afraid of needles or snakes or spiders, sure, we can flood you and make you walk through a sea of spiders and snakes, or I could give you the option to observe from a distance until you feel confident enough to come closer and maybe put one on your hand. Like, which one would you choose? To be forced head down into the fucking snake pit? Or to just walk around it until you're ready to confront it. I know what I would choose. Another reason is that people are trying to move too fast with their dog. What do I mean with that? I don't mean your actual speed that you're walking, but that you go from level 1, which is your garage or your house, to level 100, which is like next to the dog park. Your dog is going to fail 100% guaranteed. It's not going to be working. Even your favorite park or your favorite beach that only has 1 or 2 dogs at that time, that is not where you should be starting. If you're a gamer like me, that would be like having Link. When he only has 3 hearts, try and beat Ganon. You're going to lose. Even if you try it 500,000 times, there is absolutely 0 chance he is going to beat him. Because you simply don't have enough skills and enough armor and the right weapons to do it. So what do? You go and work on all those skills and you slowly build it up. You're going to avoid areas that are too hard until you feel confident enough to tackle those. And then at the end, you are able to defeat the end boss. Now, if you're not a gamer and you're thinking, what the fuck is she talking about? Well, let's look at it then as a bank account, right? So at the moment, with your reactive dog, when you're out on a walk, your bank account is in the negative. You're like a minus $100 right now. So every time you go out and an incident happens, like your dog blows up or, gets rushed by another dog, you lose another $1 or $10. So every time something happens, the negative gets worse and worse. Now, when I start doing training, I don't just baseline, I don't go to $0 straight away. Instead, I have to do 100 reps of putting $1 in my account to even get to neutral, which is $0. And now that I'm at $0, I'm going to add $1 every time until I have $100+ dollars. I'm in the green. Yeah, I'm making profit. So now I have $100 in my account. So when I have one shitty encounter happen with the dog, I go to $99. I don't go back to minus $100. I just go down 1, or maybe I go to minus 90. But because I'm taking every single little boring step in between, I teach my dog how to cope in this situation without instantly going from 0 to 100. Like, it's just impossible. It's not going to work no matter how much you want it to work. So finding the right steps to practice is one of the main things that I think is super, super important. So how does that look in real life? So obviously you need to do foundation exercises first in the home. So for example, one thing that I always recommend is using body pressure and teaching impulse control. So I don't teach any dog that is reactive impulse control straight on another dog. You know what I start with? With food. Oh, but my dog doesn't like food. Well, it doesn't fucking matter. What we're practicing is to make your dog understand, what do I do when I see something that I want? And what do you, as the handler, do? You know what? Most of the exercises that you do as a reactive dog owner, they're not even for the dog. They're for you. They're for you to learn how to handle and how to react and how to respond in time when something happens, when shit hits the fan. I don't do that straight away with another dog because I know you're going to be too slow. I know you're going to have your timing off. I know all of that. So why would I put you and your dog straight into a level 100 situation? Well, I don't, because I know you're going to fail. And why should I set you up to fail? Well, I wouldn't do it, so why do you keep doing it to yourself? Right? So you start first maybe in your garage. You do your impulse control games, you do your food claiming, you do your loose leash walking. Yeah, all of those in your garage, in your house, in your backyard. And when that goes well, then you go to your street when there's no one else there. No one. And I know I'm gonna get the, yeah, but now you're avoiding the problem. Yeah, I'm gonna get to that. Just hold on. Yeah. Whatever is the common, like, online comment is that, but now I'm avoiding things. Well, actually, you're building trust with your dog. You're showing your dog, hey, I know what to do in all of these situations. So when shit hits the fan, I've got your back. And every time you skip those steps and you go straight away to, but I want to walk next to the dog park, your dog will say, why did you do that? You knew I wasn't able to do this. Yeah. So you need to be willing to do all the boring steps when your dog shows no reactivity. I think that's a really big problem for people. You have this idea that you're only working on reactivity if your dog is blowing up. Like, I get that comment a lot on my most popular video. This dog isn't even really reactive. But just because you don't see the dog barking and lunging doesn't mean they're not reactive. Like, I don't need to see your dog blow up and lose his shit to understand that they are reactive. I believe you. You know, sometimes people send me videos. I can see it. I don't need to see it in person to believe it. And you don't need to think that you have to work until your dog explodes to think the training is working, because then you've pushed it too far. The other reason that you're probably failing is because you're not practicing enough away from triggers. And I kind of mentioned that right at the beginning, but that one is really important, because what we tend to do is like, oh my God, he's doing so well at home. Let's try this now, okay? And then you just push it too far too soon. And a lot of handling that you need to practice needs to be away from other dogs, because the most difficult bits are when you're walking and suddenly a dog comes around the corner. And if you haven't practiced what to do in a controlled environment, it's going to go wrong a lot of those times. So I always recommend, maybe you can go to a group class and start working like on the outside perimeter, and then slowly work your way closer as the weeks progress, because that's a safe environment. Or maybe you have a friend with a dog. Like with reactive dog training, you really can't rely on that 1 or 2 times that a dog walks past on your walk. Or, if even worse, is when that dog that walks past is a real asshole of a dog. Yeah, that has an owner that's like, it's okay, it's friendly. Yeah, and then now you have an incident. You don't have a practice situation, you have an oh shit incident that puts you back in your training. So it's really handy, even if you have like a local community page or like a Facebook group that you can post on and say, look, does anyone have a really chill dog that's not reactive, that is willing to just stand there for 15 minutes while I walk back and forth for 15 minutes to teach my dog that everything is fine? And if you do that with like 5 or 10 people, then you will see that your dog starts to realize like, oh God, things are not that scary after all, right? Because it's a controlled environment. You want to fill that bank account. You want to have like 100 reps where nothing happens. We don't want the dog to blow up. We want nothing to happen, right? And again, all those foundational skills like loose leash walking and impulse control, you need to practice that where your dog is able to concentrate. Like, I don't know how your math skills are, but mine are average at best. So I can do maths here in this room pretty easily. But if you put me on a quiz show, I can barely answer a multiplication anymore. Yeah, even though I know it, in that stressful situation when I have to answer in a really quick response and I'm timed and people are watching me, I'm just like, fuck it, I don't know. Yeah. So the same goes for dogs. They might be able to do it here, but then when they're in a stressful situation, they revert back to their old behavior. So we need to give them a lot of reps where they can actually go, oh yeah, this is my new routine. This is my new routine. I've got this. Oh, I remember we practiced that 100 times in the front yard. And then we practiced it 50 times in the empty park near the house. And then we practice it 100 times at the dog park while I saw dogs 100 meters away. So now I'm able to do it when I'm 20 meters away, right? That's that slow build up. It's building up those levels. It's filling that bank account. And then the last one that's also really important, why you might still have a reactive dog, is because you're afraid to use corrections. So, I mean, this is obviously personal choice, right? You might be a balanced dog owner, or you're more towards the force-free side. I'm not going to go into that discussion right now, but I truly believe dogs need to be corrected, even reactive dogs. The reason for that is because a lot of reactive dogs have built a response like lunging or barking or growling, and they figured out, hey, this works to get that dog to go away, right? They've built a really, really strong habit of that. And they truly believe in their minds, I have to do this to stay safe. Often that leads to overreacting as well, because like the dog will be safe. They don't need to bark at a dog across the street that is just minding their own business. So they're also now overreacting. They're over-correcting. So what we want to do is tell them a method that actually works, cut that out. You don't need to do this. But remember all the stuff I talked about building that foundation, that trust, the bank account, the levels. This is where that comes in. Because if I just go and correct the shit out of my dog, like, don't do that. Yeah, I've seen it plenty of times. People walking on the street and their dog goes up and go, no, don't do that. Like that. And then they force the dog to walk on the same sidewalk. Now you're creating a fucking ticking time bomb and a dog that has zero faith in you because you just corrected them for like being naughty, and now you've pushed them into a situation they specifically didn't want to be in. So you double failed them. So when do I correct? So for me, corrections come into place when we've built that relationship, when we've built some trust, where the dog knows, hey, mom or dad has got my back, and then I correct. It's like, hey, this is too much. And I do that in a way that is effective. So a leash pop is usually not effective. So many dogs are so used to the leash being pulled around their neck, like it doesn't work. Neither does shouting at your dog. So you need to find something that makes your dog stop doing what they're doing, right? Because often when they go into their lunging and they're barking and they're like, yeah, they don't hear you anymore. And the collar pulling is just antagonizing them more. They're like, yeah, come at me, bro. And then you're just like yanking back and the dog is just like, yeah, come at me. You know, like when you're at the bar and someone's like, hold me back. Well, that's kind of the situation you're now in. So instead, what do we do with someone at the bar like that sees red? Or maybe we throw a glass of water on them, and then they go like, oh my God, shit, right? And now we can take them away out of the situation. We do the same with dogs. I'm not saying throw a glass of water on your dog, but maybe you use a spray bottle with water. I do that a lot with reactive dogs because for most dogs, that is so unexpected that they just go and look at me like, the fuck did you just do? And then the moment they do that, I'm like, good job. Now I'm rewarding you for doing the right thing. Yeah? You need something to snap them out of it. And unfortunately, treats and stuff are not always the way because most people have done the whole treat method thing. And I'm not saying don't use treats because I do think treats have a really important place in reactive dog training. But when your dog has consistently barked and lunged and nothing stops, you need to correct it. They're being dickheads now. Like, yes, you have a right to be afraid, but you can't be dick about it. And that's often when I see huge leaps in progression, when you can find a good, well-timed, measured correction to tell your dog you're taking it too far. Stop. And then follow me, because I've got you covered. I know what to do, and I will do this for you. That's when massive progress is made. Because suddenly your dog figures out, hey, I'm still safe without the barking and lunging. Mom or dad has my back. If a dog runs up at me, my mom is able to body block them and shoot him away. That's where the progress is. So I don't have a magical method for you. My magical method is stop moving too fast, stop arguing with your dog, correct them when necessary, and practice lots away from triggers. Fill that bank account. I'd love to know what you think. Am I wrong? Am I right? Are you going to try any of these? Did this give you a light bulb moment? Do you think I'm talking shit? I don't mind. Let me know in the comments. Like, subscribe, and share it. And I'll see you next time. Bye.